Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, and today I'm going to show you how I made this Christmas ornament using old guitar strings. So recently I've been invited to a Christmas party, and we're supposed to bring a little snack to eat along with a wrapped Christmas ornament and then an unwrapped pair of Christmas socks. And so I decided to make the Christmas ornament. And I think I'm going to use this right here as part of the element. I actually made this the other day. I love how it turned out. And even though it is more of an antique brass color, I put it on my sterling silver chain and I've been wearing it ever since. I'm just going to lay this right here. Normally, I like to make Christmas ornaments out of old guitar strings, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use an old guitar string, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to maybe hang that in the middle. So first thing I need to do is make this element, and then I'll need to make this element and put them together. So I've already cleaned these. If you're interested on how I clean my guitar strings, because they can be very, very nasty if you use recycled ones, I'll leave a link at the end of this video showing you my process of cleaning them. But this is a little big for what I want, so I want it a little smaller. So let me undo this, and then that way I can show you how I made the circle. All right, so basically you have your string, and I'm going to keep this bead on here. It's an end, E-N-D bead. It actually helps attach the string to the instrument, whether it's a guitar or dulcimer like I play. Anyway, you're just going to start out by tying like you're getting ready to tie a shoe. And I think that's about how big I want it right there. Because it's probably going to hang down a little bit more. I don't want it going like this. I want it more like that. So once I get the size I want, I just start wrapping. And once I've wrapped it a couple times, I can let go. It's not going to slip. And then, after I get this all wrapped, I need to make sure that these are wired down. And I am going to be using 20 gauge wire. And I'm trying to figure out, I know I don't want to use this color, even though that's the color I'll be using for the tree. I don't really like the gold with it. We have a rose gold color here. I could use this. It's a coconut color and it's really close to that. Or I could use the silver. I am going to use these kind of peachy pink colored beads. Well, I just need one. I say these, one, because I like the way that looks on there. And with this being rose gold, that kind of ties that in a little bit. It's kind of a light rose color. So let me set that aside. I think I want to do the silver. And I'm not for sure if I'm going to go all the way around or not. I do know I need to start here and at least go to here. The silver tone wire I'm using is 20 gauge and it's very soft. I actually got it off of BB Craft and I use it for a lot of different things. It's very easy to work with. So right now I'm just getting it started. I'm wrapping it and making sure that that end is all the way down. And I will make sure that the 20 gauge wire I am using, the end is going to be pressed down so it's not poking. When it's not going to be sticking out and poking you. And then now I'm just going to wrap all the way to the other end. Now that I'm at the other end, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure that piece is tucked in so it doesn't poke you. And then I'm just going to wrap back to the other side. I've decided not to go all the way around this guitar string. I think it'll make it look a little bit more interesting this way. As I am wiring back, I am crisscrossing the wires, so it makes a little X there. I like doing this because it gives a little bit more added interest. What it looks like on the other side. Now I got lucky this time. I actually cut exactly how much I needed. That doesn't happen very often. If you cut too much, you can always trim it once you get to the other end. If you didn't cut enough, you could just tuck in the end and add another piece. So that's not that big of a deal if you don't have enough or if you have too much. So now we're finishing off. I'm just going to continue to wire around here and then find a place to tuck the end in again so it is not pokey. You definitely don't want these to poke you. Plus the fact you want it to look nice and finished. All right, we got that all done. Now for the Christmas tree. This is the wire I'm using. It's 20 gauge. I got it at Hobby Lobby, so it's pretty easy to find. And first thing we're going to do is make the little spiral piece. And I'm just going to use some round nose pliers. And then I do like to use these little rubber pliers because that way, if I were to use metal pliers, I risk nicking the wire. And I want the wire to look nice and smooth. Now, if you want it to look nicked and you want to pound it and make it look old and all, you can do that. But that's not the look I'm going for today. So anyway, we're going to get started with my round nose pliers, and I'm going to use the very tippy tip there, the smallest part, and I'm just going to start wrapping a loop. I'm going to make sure it's cut correctly there. It's not at a pointy edge. This is good. So I'm starting out here, wrapping the loop, and once I get it started, I will be using those rubber pliers and just grabbing a hold of the end and just placing the wire around in a circle. And sometimes this can get a little fiddly, so just be patient. And by the way, this Christmas tree we're making, you can make earrings out of them. You can make a necklace. You can actually just have an ornament that's just the tree without the guitar string part of it. I made several of those using 18 gauge wire and beading it up. And I'll actually show you what I mean at the end of this video. So right now I'm just counting how many spirals there are. I want this tree to be about the same size as the tree on my necklace. So that's kind of why I was doing that. But you know, at the end of the day, I could just place it on top of that spiral and gauge to see if they're the same size or not. And if they're a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, that's okay. Now, if you were making a pair of earrings, you would want to make sure they are the same size. Now for the branches. And you can use your round nose pliers for this. I just kind of use my fingers, but you want to start out with, you know, a wider branch at the bottom, and as you go up, you're making a triangular shape, so they're going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, as I'm making this tree, there's going to be a lot of adjustment. Again, you just have to take it slow and be patient. Something else to remember here, I'm using 20 gauge wire. If you use 18 gauge wire, it's not going to be as easy to manipulate that wire. You don't want to go smaller than 20 gauge because then it's going to be just way too flimsy. I find the 20 gauge wire a lot easier to work with. After I made sure that the tree is going to fit in the guitar string form like I want it to, I went ahead and clipped off the wire. These actually could make good earrings together. But I put the bead on, and now I'm just making sure again that it's going to fit in there like I want it to. And then I am just going to wrap a loop. I cut off enough wire so that I'll have enough to make the loop and do a little bit of wrapping. Now notice I keep making sure things fit right. You know, carpenters say measure twice, cut once. It's kind of what I'm doing here. Measuring several times, cutting once, wrapping once. Anyway, right now I'm just wrapping the wire to make that loop and going a couple times around and making sure everything is intact. I am going to clip a little bit of this wire off. I could go ahead and wrap it more, but I think I am pretty much done here. So I'm going to clip this off and then make sure that that wire is tucked in. Again, we won't want it tucked out and all sticking out because it doesn't look nice. Also, somebody picking up the ornament could get poked or scratched, and we don't want that to happen. All right, I think I'm going to like how it looks. Now I got to figure out, do I want all that wire work on the guitar string above or underneath the tree? I think I want it on the top. It just kind of makes an arch, and I think I like that look. So now, how are we going to attach the tree to the guitar strings? Well, that's what we're going to do next. So I am going to my 20 gauge Silvertone soft wire again. I've cut off about 10 inches, and now I'm just going to find the middle, and then I'm going to put the tree on there, make it go on the bottom, and then I'm just going to twist a loop. I'm going to crisscross there. I don't want that loop to be really tight on the tree because I want it to dangle really nicely. So about there's good. And then I'm just going to twist about 1.5 times. I want the wire to be sideways. See, you can't do it that way, so I need to twist it just a little bit more. There we go. And then we've got a wire on the back and a wire on the front. And then I'm just going to twist the wire a couple of times around on each side, making sure that is centered. Now, if you don't want it centered, that would be good too. I've seen them kind of off kilter like that, and it actually is pretty interesting. But this particular one, I want in the center. So that's what I'm doing, is making sure it's there. And then I'm just going to start wrapping on one side a couple times like so, and then I'm going to do it on the other side a couple of times. And notice how they're kind of separated. They need to be closer together. So I'm going to wrap one more time, bringing it more into the center so these wires are close together, because the next thing we're going to do is twist the wires into one big wire. So now we have our one big wire, and I'm going to get, you can use your round nose pliers. I'm actually going to be using my bail pliers. You just use anything that's round. I like to use the bigger one because we are going to tie a bow in there in just a second. But right now, just wrap a loop, and with the excess wire, I'm just going to wrap around the neck. And you can use your flat nose pliers to help you with this wiring, or this is really easy to do. I can use my hands. Once I get to the end here, though, I do use my flat nose pliers because I am going to find a place to tuck those ends in. Now, if you wanted to, you could make this a little bit smaller and actually use it as a pendant on a necklace. That's another idea. But right now, we are done. I'm just kind of tweaking how it's hanging. See, it's kind of hanging awkward. So I'm just gently moving the wire to where I want it so the tree will hang correctly. And now all we need to do is find a piece of ribbon to put into that loop and hang it on the tree. I got into my ribbon stash and I found some really pretty light pink, kind of that organza type ribbon. Looks white on video here, but it's pink. It's more like a ballet pink. In fact, that crystal is like a ballet shoe pink. But I'm just putting it through the little loop there, and I'm going to cut however much I need, make an overhand knot, boom, we are done. And here it is on the tree. I know I made this for the Christmas party, but you know what? I may have to make myself one of these. Here's another ornament that I made. Looks like a peace sign out of guitar strings. This is the Christmas tree I was talking about, where I beaded it all up. Now here's a few more guitar string ornaments that I have made. I love working with wire, and I love working with guitar strings. It's fun to recycle. And here it is. And you know what? I was thinking too, I could have even beaded this up some more, like put some little tiny beads all around. It's endless what you could do with this. Anyway, let me know what you think of this ornament down in the comment section below. Thanks for joining me, and y'all have a great day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, signing out for now. Bye-bye.